You are now listening to the smooth sounds of Love Atia. Ciao, beautiful souls. My name's Atia, and I am your future bestie in your head. I am a sex-positive animal activist. I grew up in Queens, New York, and was homeschooled/unschooled for about 12 years. I was a virgin until I was 24 and attempted to have a hoe phase for 2 years, which eventually led me to being accidentally/intentionally celibate. And here we are today. My past left me with a lot of wild stories, a lot of lessons, and a hell of a lot of trauma. Thank God for my wicked sense of humor, because God only knows I would have perished by now. With that being said, this is your gentle reminder that the Love Atia experience was created as a safe space for me to reflect and share the lessons that I've learned from past traumas. Shit gets real on this podcast, and topics such as domestic violence, sexual assault, substance abuse, depression, anxiety, and suicide may be referenced. If you are working through feeling triggered by certain topics, this may not be the show for you right now, and that's okay. Healing takes time and isn't linear. I'll be here when you're ready. Now, without further ado, the Love Atia experience is an experience. So get ready for laughs, crazy story times, and life-changing pleasure tips here on the Love Atia Experience podcast. Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Love Atia Experience. I'm so excited to be here because today we have the absolutely amazing, illustrious, what's another adjective? Wonderful Cornelia calling all the way in from Berlin. Shout out to Cornelia. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Just a little background for those of you who are listening. I met Cornelia at Sex Tech School. I've been having a lot of guests here from Sex Tech School because I've just met so many amazing people in school. So Cornelia was actually my accountability partner. And when I first signed up for having an accountability partner, I was like, I don't know how accountable I can be. But Cornelia is by far just such an amazing person to hold me accountable and for me to help also hold accountable. So anyways, we'll dive more into that later on. But Cornelia, please tell us all about who you are and what you do.
Yes, thank you for having me. This is so exciting because in one of the first sessions we talked about podcasts, and now we're here. Now we're making this a reality. So thank you so much. So I'm Cornelia. I'm from Berlin originally, and I've lived in other places, but now back in Berlin. And I love the city. So everyone come around, have a look, say hi. My background is in political science. So I'm very interested in everything political because I believe everything is political.
Absolutely.
And I always stand up for social justice. So this actually was motivated me to study political science. But I also studied business, and I've worked in marketing, communications, and I also very much believe in communication. And when we all talk more, and when we actually come out of all the taboos and discuss and talk to each other, I think we can solve a lot of issues. So that's all very much part of me. And I've also done a training to become a coach. So in my coaching sessions, I also want to use all the communication, talking to people, and finding, even in the conversations with ourselves, finding what we can actually do better and do to feel better, basically. Yes. So all of this together
I love it.
has led me now to founding my own startup, which is called Xounds, and which is focusing on also audio, so a form of communication. And what we want to do is we want to have this platform for everyone to not only find audio erotica, so everything that is erotic and inspires you, but in an audible way, but also to be part of the community and share audio erotica. And that could be anything that turns you on or that you really want to share with the public, that you think no one has talked about and should be out there and is in the sphere of erotica. So yeah, that's Xounds.
I love that. I love how your brain works. I love how you are multifaceted. I love how many passions you have and how they all relate, honestly, but you're able to just split your focus. I love that so much. We're gonna learn so much more about you, so much more about Xounds. I'm super excited about this. But first I wanted to just do some icebreakers if you're down. And I have 4. So the first one is, what is your favorite kind of audio porn? Is it men moaning or old school stories or role play? Do you have a favorite category of audio porn?
Yeah, my favorite is actually the real sounds. So I love to listen to people actually having some kind of form of erotic thing going on, and it doesn't even
Ooh.
have to be sex, but I love to just listen to the noises that people make, because this really puts me into this whole fantasy starting to work, and I imagine, oh, what, there's this person, oh, maybe there's another person, and what are they doing, where are they? Like the soundtrack basically just gives me some clues, but my fantasy is doing the rest. So I just love this, just listening to the sounds.
Yes, I literally love that so much. I was watching porn the other day and there was a girl, but her vulva wasn't in the shot, but like I could hear the sounds and like what she was doing. I was like, oh, wild, like what's happening down there? I love that so much.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love other things too, like stories are amazing and stuff, and they can put me in the right mood. But what really gets me going is this, my fantasy just gets some clues and can really relax and start working. Yeah.
I love that. I love that so, so, so much. Okay, the next one kind of, I guess, kind of goes with the stories is what's the first, well, actually not really. What's the first thing that sexually attracts you to someone
I think it's
in
the eyes,
general?
to be honest.
You said
Like
what?
eyes, amazing eyes.
Oh,
I like normally it's like I mean, I love good hair. Like
okay.
hair is definitely a thing that catches my attention too. If I
Okay.
can't see the eyes, basically. But really what attracts me is like yeah, like it's not even the eyes maybe, but the look of people, you know, how
Yes.
they look at you and
Yes.
this whole interaction. Yes, I love this. And then all the other things come to it. Like it's the sound of the voice, how people laugh. I love when people are fun and have fun and laughing. Like a good
Yes.
smile, a good laugh is amazing. Yeah, so I think that's the main ones.
I love that. No, that's so true. I don't know if you watched Love Island, but last season, all they talked about was eye contact and like the way that people look at them. And it's so important. So yeah, 1,000%. I love that. And you can also kind of tell when somebody's crazy. Like, you're
Yeah,
like, wait, why are you looking at me like that? Like
totally.
that look in your eye, yeah. Where on your body is your favorite place to be touched?
That is a difficult one because I feel like it changes. It's kind of
Okay.
yeah, it kind of depends on the day or maybe even the cycle of the month, to be honest.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I do love all the touches. So I really like the full body. Like the more I feel on my body, the better.
Yes.
I
Yes.
do really love, like, yeah, touching my hair and touching my head and also
Yes.
boobs.
Yes. Yes. A
So yeah,
thousand percent.
basically all the touch.
I love that. I love that. And do you feel like it varies like sexual touch versus just regular like platonic touch? Like, do you feel like, yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Like you obviously wouldn't want somebody platonically like grabbing your breast, but
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, actually, me and my friends kind of do things like that. But
Exactly. When it's a friend, I don't mind if it happens or something.
absolutely, consensually. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Or even if it's by accident, you know, when someone just by accident like is really excited to see you, and
Yes.
it just happens as well.
Yes.
So that's fine. I don't mind, but it's a bit funny as well.
I love it. Okay, and this is the fourth and final question. Now, I asked this to every guest that I've had on here so far, and I feel like they're all so different, and everybody's ideas of what this question is so different. Even mine has changed. So it's what's your dirtiest sexual fantasy? And after you share yours, I'll share my most updated one because I've added stuff to it now.
And I would just going exactly this is like an update, right? It's also kind of what phase are you in life? And
Yep.
now I feel like because it's summertime, but in Berlin the summer is awful this year. It's like
Oh wow.
raining the whole time and it's like so many thunderstorms actually.
Oh.
So I really feel like all the fantasies that I have at the moment are around water.
Oh.
And I don't know if that has to do with the rain or with the lack of sun that I can actually go swimming. So I'm not really sure what it is, but it's definitely everything around water. So I think I'm very much fantasizing about like a swimming pool
Okay.
encounter. And yeah,
Yes. Yes. I love it. Do you want people around watching or do you want it to be kind of secluded?
kind of both, kind of a mix. That's another thing that I think is really like sexy is like this kind of opportunity for people to that you have people watching, but
Yep.
also you can just like kind of close it up and be intimate just on your own. I like that mix.
Yep. I love that so, so much. Oh my gosh. That I feel like I need to incorporate some kind of like element into mine because right now mine is dry, like it's on dry land. Mine is I want to be in a room with Tiana Taylor,
Oh,
Kalani, Megan Thee Stallion, Victoria Monet. Like there's one more. I feel like I always miss one. Maybe that's it. Oh, and me. I'm the fifth person. So at this point, we're having a five-some. I don't necessarily need to participate, but it's so many of us in there. I might as well. You know, like but I would love to just watch. They can sing, they can rap, they can dance, but I'd also love for them to be touching and engaging with each other. I feel like they've all kind of engaged with each other at one point in time. So I just keep getting these teases and these clips on like performances and like them at parties. But like, what about in real life? Just like fucking in front of me. Like I would just love, like not even fucking, making love. So that's
yes.
that's my ultimate dirtiest fantasy right now. But now I'm like, maybe I should add like us in the ocean, you know, or like I don't know, add something to it. So it's just like a little extra razzle dazzle because.
But you know what? That already, just what you were saying is super sexy. But what it did to my fantasy right now, because I have the water fantasy, so that completely was like incorporated in it. And I just had this, you know, that Janelle Monáe video. Which one is it? The Lipstick Lovers or something,
Oh, I
where she
haven't
has this
seen
pool
it.
party with all of these amazing people, and they are going sexy.
What?
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, you
I
have to
have
watch the
not
video.
watched
So that was
it.
just like when you were saying this, I was like, okay, I mean, it's just her. It's not all the other famous people,
Uh-huh.
but all the people there look like they could be famous.
Oh,
They're just like so
wow.
pretty, all of them. And they're all gender. They're all mixed and they all make out, and it's just super sexy.
Oh, I cannot believe I haven't watched it yet. Okay, I'm gonna look it up because I know she just came out with that album with like Pleasure something, but I haven't seen like any of her videos for it. So,
Mm.
okay, this is up my alley. I love
There's
beautiful
some
people.
pleasure ahead of you.
I love it. And that's a perfect segue because that's talking about music, sounds, and pleasure. So I want to jump back into sounds because I know you mentioned when we were talking before that you were an audiophile. Is that correct? I want.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What is an audiophile? I've never heard of that before.
I don't even know if that's an actual term, but I
Oh,
call
wow.
myself this because I just like everything with sound and music just really turns me on and
Oh.
and not even like turning me on, but also just every mood is kind of set by music. So even like when I was a child or a teenager, I would listen to certain music and it would just put me in a mood. And it's just like so powerful. Certain sounds or music, it's just it's doing a lot to me. And no
Yeah.
matter what, if it's kind of helping me through a sad phase, but also if I sometimes you just have this melancholic kind of mood and then you just need something to support it, but because just need to get through it. Like it's fine that it's there. So again, music or certain sounds and like the sound of rain, for example, I think is such an amazing sound and can do so much with me. And it could also be very sexy, actually. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I don't really know if it's a thing, but I kind of feel it's a thing for me. And I've met other people who are very sensitive to certain sounds and audios. So I kind of think it is a thing.
I mean, when you said it, it sounded super legit. Like I'm like, oh yeah, like that. I bet, yeah, like I could be that. Like yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I have like a a playlist. I have like an
Yeah.
angry playlist. You know, so you're right. Like
Yeah.
there's different music and different sounds for everything. Or when I want to go to sleep and I need my body to relax, I'll listen to the ocean. Somebody told me to try to pleasure myself to, was it the sounds of the ocean or the sounds of the jungle? And I was like, oh, that would be something interesting. Like I wonder where my mind would go
Yeah.
when I'm gonna try that and let you know. I'll like report back. But
Yes.
I wanted to know what sounds. So is it something that people can download on their phone? Is it an app, a website? What is, please tell us more about all the amazingness of sounds.
Yes, so Xounds will be an app. So we at the moment we have the MVP and we're testing it at the moment here in
Okay.
Berlin. Basically, we are testing it in small rounds. So it's groups of people who are on a waiting list at the moment, and they either come to events or they can download the kind
Okay.
of testing MVP. Or it's not really down. It's like a web app basically that they can try. And once it's ready and tested, and we have all the feedback from other people, and we advance like a certain technical level, then it will be an app that everyone can download from the App Store. And basically you give us like some of the preferences that you're actually into. So for example, is it more women voices that you're interested? Is it more stories? Is it more sounds? Is it ASMR? Because again, like you can just have sounds, but you can also have like the ASMR, which is like a particular way of recording,
Yeah.
right? So things like this, also tutorials. Do you want more sex ed? Do you maybe just don't want the inspiration, but you actually want more education? So things like this, you just give us on all the onboarding and you tell us the preference. And then based on this, you will be shown like the home screen with all the audios in it. And basically, we're calling everyone to be part of it. So we're testing everything for consent.
Okay.
So whenever you want to create something, you have like an easy process. You onboard once and you have to kind of give us a bit more information. You're being reminded of all the values. So we really want to be like a safer space as well. We want to feel everyone safe. So that means no hate speech, like no racist stuff, no violent stuff that is not under consent.
Yes.
So things like this, like, of course, child protection, all of these things, they're just like a reminder, and we just all want to agree on the same values. And then once you agree to this, you can start the recording, and you start every recording with giving your consent. Because that's the thing that we realized in life is a thing that we don't do enough. We don't practice giving consent enough and actually thinking about doing something enough before we do it.
Yes.
So we want to do this. We call it the sound check.
Okay.
So you tell us how many people are recording. So it could be just you, but it could be you and some lovers, for example. And then all the lovers have to give their consent. And then we're checking the voices, basically. So you speak like a sentence of consent into the phone.
Okay.
And then we're checking while you're actually recording. So it's always a live recording. And we're checking, is that really the people who consented? Or is there another voice? Because then someone hasn't given their consent. So we don't want. So that's our sound check. And also the recording is meant to be live for, on one hand, to actually do this and to have not people who just record you like secretly and go into this whole craziness.
Yes.
But yeah, it's all live also because we really want to empower people to be more authentic. So just live in the moment and just really see if this is like a good moment where maybe you have a story to tell, or maybe you have like a sexy thing going on and you want to spice it up even more by recording it. Just go for it. And then you will have like some small editing possibilities, but then it actually just, yeah, goes into that we test, okay, is it all under consent? Is it all really under our values? And then it goes live. And this is again where the community is asked. So again, when you're a user and you're just listening to something and you feel like, oh, that doesn't sound like it's part of the values, there's like a very easy reporting button, because it will just happen. We're just realistic about it, the whole thing. It's like a community-based thing and everyone can take part. So especially at the start, our algorithm won't be as amazing maybe as we hope, because we will have to train it. So something will slip through. So yeah, it's on all of us to actually also vote for it. Like, is there a thing that we want in our community, or is that something that just doesn't make it feel safe? And we, as the developers, we want to learn from it and develop it to all the needs basically of the community.
I love that though. I love the transparency of Xounds and everybody who's working, like the team that's working behind Xounds, because so many companies will say like, oh, this is our intention, but they won't be honest about the fact that technology is still technology. And so, but the fact that you're on it and the fact that you're prepared for that, I think that is amazing. The fact that your main goal and like the main focus is consent, like to even have the sound check, like that to me, like you said, instills stuff in people's minds outside of Xounds, like just in their everyday sex life. Like, yeah, you do need to ask consent. Even people that have been in relationship for years, like, yes is not always yes every day. Like, you do need to double check with your partner. So I love that. I love that you have the live feature so that people can't like trick the system. I just feel like y'all have really thought this out really well, especially with all of the controversies that are happening with other platforms, that stuff is not being put out there consensually. I think that everything, like all of the stuff that y'all are setting up for Xounds is like, it makes me feel comfortable. Like, I would have never thought that I would consider doing like audio, any type of audio porn, or just audio content, like aroused audio content. But I could see, because it's set up like this, because it's consensual, it's safe. I believe you said you can be anonymous with it. Like, you don't have to.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you can be anonymous. Like, you give us as much information as you want. So also, like, our platform it's not the main goal to make money with it. It's really more like we want to have this like library basically of audios that are really authentic and that break all the stigma and these stereotypes that we've learned from porn, and that even in like, there's amazing feminist porn coming out there, but they're still repeating a lot of the old stereotypes because we've learned them. And that's okay, because we've learned to like it. But we also know from reality that a lot of people do other things and they're also amazing, and they just don't have the platform at the moment. Because again, if it goes to like a more professional platform, they want to make money, so they want to serve like certain stereotypes because they sell well. And we really just want to break this and want to have this library where everyone can explore new things, but also just find these like little kinks that they like, which already exist like on a lot of like things like Reddits or other these kind of things, but they're not safe there. So
Right.
we really decided when we did the research, and like to be honest, at the start we were just looking for something like this, and we were like, all these platforms that have something different, alternative, they're not safe at all. It's really weird. No one is checking the people behind them. No one is checking if there's consent. And this is how we actually came up with this whole idea, because it's very important to us.
I love it. I can feel that literally. And I feel like, especially nowadays, like just in general, people are looking for safe spaces. And it feels like they're far and few in between. So to be that place where people can know they can come to. I know so many people who are actively looking for ethical pornography, ethical or audio porn, or just things to arouse themselves that will not traumatize them. You know what I'm saying? It's so hard when I'm looking on a porn site that might be a popular one, and I'm like, I don't know, like this just doesn't feel right, so I'm just not gonna watch this. Like this is not, I don't know, something just rubbing me the wrong way, and I don't know, this isn't giving consensual. I don't know what it's not giving something that's making me, like that trigger.
It's just
So yeah,
intransparent. Yeah, you just can't know because no one tells you. And it's just because so much harm has happened and so many scandals were out there that we just have to assume that it's still like this. Because also the
absolutely.
big platforms, they still haven't come out and they're still not transparent about all the data. Also, what they do with your data when you're actually on it. So all of these things, they're just scary. And I'm
Yes,
the same. I just have to think about these things instead of actually do what I wanted to do and relax and get
yes,
inspired.
yes, yeah, exactly, literally, exactly. I love it. I haven't even looked at any of my questions yet. I'm just like chatting with you because I love it. That's how we do. um, Oh, okay. I wanted to ask you, which we kind of talked about a little bit just now, but how is audio porn more tantalizing for you or for others than visual porn? Or how have you noticed that it's more exciting?
Yeah, so on one hand, it's really giving you the opportunity to fantasize more.
Mhm.
So what I love about audio is that I'm now presented with all of these pictures as well. Because I would say I'm also a very visual person, but that
Yep.
is actually not good in the world of porn, where there could be like a person just doing something weird or make like maybe especially with the women in porn, sometimes they have this weird look, and then I'm like, oh, she didn't want this,
Yes,
and
yes.
I just keep thinking about this. And it's like I just can't stop thinking about this then. Or even sometimes it's like I like tattoos on other people, but if there's like a weird tattoo or something like really huge and it looks like it has a story, then I start thinking about this. I just get extracted so easily from the visuals, and then again I don't focus on what I should focus. But if I actually have all of the visuals out and I can just focus on the audio, it just gives me like so much, yeah, opportunity for my fantasy to live, really.
Yes,
Which again I feel like is such a nice thing in this world where we keep looking at screens, and I'm consuming everything, like, on social media. It's just like consuming, consuming, consuming.
yep,
And when I really just turn all of this off and just focus on the audio, I feel like this is even like alone, like focusing on the audio for once is like relaxing, and
yes,
have the opportunity to close my eyes and just
yes.
be really in whatever mood. And I've even noticed I was listening to the same audio like multiple times, but I had different fantasies each time. So that's the power of audio, of just like even one audio.
Oh, I love that. That makes so much sense. And then you don't have to hold your phone up, like prop the phone and like look at like that's so exhausting. Like I only have but so many hands, and fingers.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. I was going to say you need your hands for something else.
exactly. To have different fantasies to the same audio. Do you know how much time that would save me? Like I spend so much time trying to find 3 good videos. Like, oh my
Mhm.
God. And by the time it's like an hour has passed, I'm not even turned
Oh
on
yeah.
anymore. I'm angry, my battery's dying, like so
Yeah,
just have your
absolutely.
go-to.
Absolutely.
I love that so much. And then I also feel like that can help you have trust in your mind as well. Like in your fan, because a
Mhm.
lot of people say, like, oh, I don't know how to fantasize. But it's like if you
Yeah.
daydream, you're damn near fantasizing appropriately. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yes.
you can fantasize appropriately too, but like I think that it gives me more trust in my mind if I'm listening to music or I'm listening to something that or like a scene of a movie that I think could turn me on. Like And then closing my eyes, like you said, you just have this wonderland in your brain that you can really start trusting. Even if you don't trust it initially, it's nice to practice it to audio porn. So
And also, I feel like a lot of people who say they can't fantasize something, it's also because they're blocked from our everyday life, screens, and consuming all of the content. And I get it. Like, if I have like really these weeks, especially now with like founding a startup, it's crazy. It's a crazy
yeah,
amount of screen time, but also talking to people, and it's like so much on my mind.
yes,
And I've experienced it. It's harder to fantasize something, but it's exactly when I feel like an audio is better because I can close my eyes and I can, because I still hear something, I still consume something, but it's not as much as a video. So it just helps me to get into this fantasizing state. So I feel like this is really, because you can just fantasize without anything. I totally
right.
believe in that too. But to use Xounds or other audio erotica just helps you to get into the state, basically.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zounds.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how does self-discovery lead to better pleasure for solo play and pleasure with partners? Or how does sounds help with that? Like, how does sounds help you with self-discovery or with getting more connected with your partner?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both is definitely possible. It's kind of, I mean, a lot of people consume erotic inspiration when they're on their own, right? It's
Yes.
kind of a thing you do your me time, or maybe you just don't have a partner at the moment, but you still yeah, you want to be aroused, and as you would normally do with a partner, with the foreplay, kissing, and all of this, this is like normally what brings you into the mood, right?
Mhm.
So if you're on your own, you kind of have to do that job on your own.
Yeah.
So again, sounds can help you in a less invasive way to do that. It's like, again, you gave your preferences, so you will find something that is kind of towards your preferences already, and so it makes it easier to find something. And then again, as I said, there will be like tutorials as well. So
Love
let's
that.
say maybe you have even issues with really enjoying self-pleasure, because there's so much stigma around that too. And we all, like, maybe not we all, but a lot of people had to unlearn all of the stigma and
Yeah.
everything around. I mean, there's so much out there that kind of stops us or makes us feel guilty having
Yes.
self-pleasure and enjoying this. So yeah, there will be like some tutorials that actually help you doing this. And again, everyone is invited to add to this. And there will be like some sex education. So there will be like some information that you can listen to that kind of maybe even helps you to feel more in this, it's okay to do that, it's normal, it's fine. And it gives me like all of these good things, actually, because it's proven by studies that self-pleasure is a good thing to do. It's
Yeah.
actually healthy. So like maybe just, yeah, knowing this again and hearing this again will help. And then when you're in the next step, you can actually just, yeah, do it slow. Like you can search for things that are slow, that are soft, that are vanilla, or
Mm.
you can step by step go further. And it's the other way around too. If you're already in the journey that, yeah, I'm enjoying self-pleasure, I love it, I want to do it, and I want to go next level, again, you can go into the audience that are a little bit more whatever. I mean, it doesn't even have to be hard, but whatever you like and you already found out, or you just explore something completely new. And this is where it really can help you in whatever stage you're in self-pleasure. And then again, for like playing with a partner or partners, I think it's also amazing because different to like watching porn, you can just use your headphones, for example. And
Yes.
let's say I like to listen to something really vanilla because I'm in this romantic phase and I just want like a lot of kissing, and just this is my mood right now.
Yes.
I feel like overwhelmed with something else. But my partner, she wants like something BDSM, for example. She's like in this like, no, I had this like day where I'm just like pumped, and I want this. Then let's do it. Like we can still, like touch each other, but we can have like our different moods really be fulfilled. And yeah, this is again the power that you can use your headphones and the rest is your fantasy, instead of you both have to agree on watching the same video and liking it at this moment.
Stop. I literally love that so much. No, like it's like a silent party, like when you're, and
Yeah,
like they have that.
silent disco, silent porn disco.
Yes, literally. And that's so amazing because I was in a relationship. We used to watch porn together. I was not into the porn that he was into at all.
Mhm.
Like I was into masturbation porn. He was into like he was like I'm sorry, because I'm trying not to be petty. Okay, let me pick one that's not like out there. like watching men watching men have like, I don't know how to say it, like watching men have sex with a woman, but like the focus would be on the male genital. I can't relate to that. Like I can't get off to that. So then we just be doing our own thing. Like we be on two different sides of the bed, like watching it just disconnected. So if we could be together and listening to what we like audio wise, I think that would have brought us together so much better. So I'm excited to try this out with like my next partner, because sometimes I just want to hear, like you said, some vanilla stuff. Like I just want to hear some kissing or something. So to know that there are different options, yeah. Ooh, I love that. Is there wait, I have so many questions at one time. Sorry. Is there, like, what are the different kind of, like, maybe top 3 categories that you feel like might end up, I know this is kind of hard to project, but like end up being the most popular ones, like super spicy, BDSM, vanilla, non-monogamous, like I don't know, do you think that there are 3 that you think are going to end up being the most listened to?
I really don't know. And to be honest, this is also part of it that we were like, we don't want to give categories. So what we do have is like sounds and stories and tutorials. So these kind of categories we give, but we don't even give like BDSM or something. You're not searching this way. We're using something like, we call it X tags, and it will be like hashtags basically.
Okay.
Maybe we're only doing this at the start, but we said like when we launch, we don't want to again categorize people and their kinks, because it's not that easy to say, to choose between 1 or 2, because we're all like individuals and we change every day. So let's not put everything into a box. Also, we feel like audios don't always like fit into this one box, because they're both, or they are more than something. And what we already found out is there's so much more than I could imagine. So who am I to curate this and say these are the like 5 or 10 categories? I think there's so much more out there that I just don't know about, and don't necessarily need to do the research, because I feel like the community will just do the work. People will know what they like, and they will have the power to actually give it a name. And after a while, we're planning again on like, can we see like there's like certain synergies, and can we actually group them? But I think more of grouping rather than categorizing. Yeah.
I literally love that so much, especially because like I get so overwhelmed that I think I judge myself sometimes on like what I am label wise. So like sexuality wise, I'm like, am I queer? Like, am I pan? Am I what? Like, I love everybody. Like, what do I do? And then like sexuality wise, I'm like, am I demi? Am I sapiosexual? Like, am I audiophile? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I? And then what I like some days I like this and days I like that. Sometimes I like a combination. So I love that you're not putting people in a box. And to me, that helps, like you said, like introduce us to so many more things that we would have never even thought of. Like I might be looking in one just in sounds, and then find like something that I didn't even know that I would fall in love with, just because I'm just in the general library. Like I love that so much. So kudos, this is so well thought through. Even the education aspect, that's what I want to go back to with sex education. Like so many people want to explore. My inbox is filled with people who want to explore themselves sexually and just don't know how. So I think that sounds is amazing, because not only do you have the library, you have the tools, you have the educational aspect, you're removing the shame and the stigma. Like we talk a lot about that in our decolonization class that we were in for sex tech school. It's like a course, but that taught me a lot about just like, there's so much shame. And even as like the liberated person that I think I am, I still have a lot of shame. Like I'm still fighting societal norms and societal shame as a whole. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like tough.
Like this is exactly this thing. Like we're creating Xounds because we also need it. Absolutely. I'm completely on the learning journey, and that's why I'm saying, who am I to tell people this is the way it goes? We just have this idea, and we thought a lot of things through, but it can actually grow from there. So we just have to see, what do most people do? And again, what you say with what is probably the most listened to category, or even if we don't go category, but groups or things, even like types of sounds, we don't really know. And it probably depends on the community as well.
Yeah.
So at the moment we are open. So we're targeting everyone who's sex positive, and we don't think we have to focus on a gender, because it also needs to be open. And again, we are back in this thing, like who am I? Like not everyone wants to, especially now and in the queer community, which I also would say I'm part of. But it's again like you, I find it hard to label. But so again, it's like, do we want to put people in boxes, or yeah, do we not? But we're open to more kind of these groups at the start. But
Yes.
where Xounds goes, I don't know. It's also like we're starting in Germany now, but we definitely want to go global, and
Yes.
we definitely see like a lot of possibilities or even need for something like Xounds in other countries which are not as liberal, you know.
Yes.
So that people actually who don't have the access like I do in Berlin with like sex positive communities and
Yeah.
parties and on, so on and on and on, like other people need this way more to exchange. And so yeah, I'm not thinking, like I would never think that I could do these choices or could even imagine what's coming next for all of these amazing people who will hopefully use Xounds at some stage and be part of the community. So yeah, I'm actually very excited about this, how where it goes, how it
Yes.
goes, and
Yes, that's the amazing part about a tech startup. Like there's literally no limit. Like sky's not even the limit.
yeah.
Like it's literally limitless. I love that. And I love the discreetness of it too. Like you couldn't be walking around with your headphones in and people would think you're just bump into like Apple Music whole time you're listening to Sounds and people don't even know like you're out, you know? And if you want to get really freaky with it, like people can use like vibrating panties. I don't know, is that like
Yes.
yeah. I love stuff like that. But that's amazing because I know like with VPNs and stuff, even being in Mexico, some certain things will be blocked and I won't have access to certain stuff. So I'd love that the goal is to be worldwide to give access to people who may not have access to sexual liberation.
Yeah.
Like that's so beautiful. I love brands with intention and companies with intentions of liberation.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, that's the goal. I wanted to ask you, which I think you kind of answered in the last question. So let me know if you just want to skip this one. But what are some ways that people can use audio porn to honor their self-discovery journey?
Mm. Yeah, it probably goes into what I've already said, that
Yeah.
you can use it as whatever you need in this moment of time. So I feel like in this whole, when you're discovering yourself, there are like these different phases. And sometimes you already started like whatever, way up there, but sometimes also something happens and you're being like thrown back all the way down there and you need to, yeah, feel comfortable with yourself first. So again, I feel like this is like the power of having everyone contributing. You could even use Xounds and share what your problems are and where you need help, and then this community again can, you know, work together on these kind of things. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, and you can choose if you want to be more passive and start listening to sex education and exploring by maybe just listening to a kissing sound or like a very, very soft story that is kind of giving you a little bit of vibe to just feel yourself more. But you can also go further and like discover things you've never thought. Maybe you're like, you think you know everything you like already, but by exploring something completely new, something that is maybe not categorized, you will find, oh wow, maybe I needed that in my life, you know.
Yep.
So I think again, there's like so much possibility, and I'm excited to hear what's coming up.
I love it. I
I want
can't
to hear
wait.
everything that I've never thought of. And
I
maybe I
love
want to pause a few things like these as well. Maybe when I
yes.
listen into it, I'm like, oh no, this is not mine. But this is again how the algorithm will learn, you know. And then the more I listen to things, the more I will find the things that I really like, and these will be recommended. But what we're going to do is as well, we will play with playlists. So kind of
Okay.
similar to your pleasure playlist,
Yes.
but not necessarily with music because we kind of the copyright and stuff.
Yeah.
But to have like these playlists where you can always just listen to the latest stuff that is coming up, and some playlists that show you kind of like for a certain mood, but they're
Okay.
not necessarily categorized by BDSM or not, but they kind of fit a certain mood, things like this. So we will play around like this, and I think I'm very excited for these to see what's coming up there, what's going into those playlists automatically, and what do we actually have to do manually. Yeah.
I love that. If I wanted to record something for Sounds, would I be able to just use my phone? Like, is there a particular, like, say that I'm just reaching out to you via email and I'm like, hey, I'd like to participate in the testing. What would the steps be? What would the next steps be for me to be able to record?
Yeah, literally just the phone. So we wanted to make it very simple, and at the start we were like, "Oh, is that even possible? Does everyone need like to be semi-professional and have a good microphone?" And then we were testing, and actually the phones are so good
Yeah.
nowadays. So the microphones built into your phone are just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then still, of course, they take a little bit more background noises than a professional microphone. But we found out, and that's also something that we tested, that this is actually quite sexy to have like background noises. And we also talked to sound audio engineers, even of porn movies, and they said, yeah, we cut something into the background. So we have to make these background noises because, of course, to make it sound natural, to make it sound authentic, you have to have some background noises. So we were like, why should we cut them out in the first place when they're actually the thing that make it authentic and make it nice to listen to? So yeah, our test recordings and other people who have test recorded for us show that it's actually quite good to just have the background noise in it. So yeah, so you basically just take your phone, start the recording, and of course you need to place it somewhere where it's not the whole time under a blanket or something, because then it just be like These are like, there's like a few tips that we give you when you do the recording. It's also like a little reminder that you get just before the recording starts.
Okay.
And then you place your phone somewhere. And maybe if you tell a story or a tutorial, it's probably good to just keep it close to your mouth.
Okay.
But otherwise, if you just want to record the moment, whatever's happening, then it's actually quite nice to just place it somewhere, keep it there where there's like nothing kind of touching it the whole time, but it's recording amazing. So yeah, you just need your phone, and you if you wanted to do it now in the testing phase, you just send us a mail either to creatorx@xounds.de, or you can actually go when you're on our website. There's actually a form that you can complete as well, and you can become a creator.
Perfect. I'll be able to put all this information. I'll make sure to put it in the description as well, so people can sign up. They can create their audios. I love that. I was literally just thinking, I have heard audio porn before, and I wondered like why that audio porn didn't turn me on as much as other audio porn has. And you know, you hit the nail on the head. There was no background noise. It was just like man breathing in my ear. I was like, get out of here. Like, I don't know. It was a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and it was like so silent in the background. It felt like if I closed my eyes, I'd be in a black room, like with a light, just a man behind me breathing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel personal. So I love that you're incorporating background. It's not to say that like all audio without background noise is creepy. I think it was just that one that I listened to. It was from, I don't even know where I heard it. I feel like I heard it somewhere on social media, but you know, I follow some freaky pages. But yeah, I love the aspect of it being real, because I love amateur porn. Like, that's just a personal favorite of mine. So that's why when you said earlier, I think you said real sounds. Is that what like I love just natural noises, like nothing too polished. I don't want anything that sounds like performative, you know, which is why I love just amateur sounds. So yeah, I think that's I didn't even think about the background noise aspect of that. So that just
what I love about it as well, about amateur and more authentic erotic, just recording it as well, is like there will be like hiccups in it.
Yeah.
Like the real stuff that is happening, like maybe a pussy fart or something.
Yes,
or maybe like a real one, who knows? Or we even have sounds where like someone went to the toilet and you can, in between, because sometimes you just have to go to the toilet in between, right? And you can hear like a little bit of the like flashing noise, and that's even fine, because like when you're listening in your fantasy, it's like, oh, they make a break, nice. And then because whenever you do, you can decide, I don't care, I just like take this out now, or maybe, I don't know, I just keep going, but maybe you also take a break. And this is also a nice reminder in real life when you're doing self-pleasure or you're playing with partners, sometimes take a break. And it's kind of all real. And that's exactly where we were like, or I was definitely, and like my co-founders, we were like, what we find out there doesn't have this realness. And then that makes you feel weird. And when you need to take a break, for example, to go for a pee, then you're just not going to say it. And then the whole pleasure experience won't be pleasurable, because you keep thinking about, I need to go to the toilet instead of enjoying, you know. So again, this is like empowering people to hear this is also what is happening in reality to other people, and it's normal, it's fine, and all of this is fine, and just find your place in all of this. It's okay.
Oh, that's so, I feel like Xounds is going to be so healing. Like, you're so right. All of this, like you said, the pussy fart, the regular fart, the using the bath. Like, I obviously have to take breaks in the middle of sex. Like, even if it's just a breather or a bathroom break or whatever, I don't know, or to go grab some lube or something. Like, so it just seems like Xounds is going to normalize so much stuff that we normally criticize or judge ourselves for, which is literally normal. So yeah, that's amazing. In the world of sex tech, outside of audio porn, or maybe, outside of audio porn, and you know, sex tech is like a booming industry now. Do you feel like you have a favorite form of like up and coming sex tech, or just things in sex tech, like sex toys? Is that your fave? Or like I said, we're gonna exclude audio porn just for the sake of like trying to think of what else, like apps and different gadgets that I don't know. I'm trying to think of other things that sex tech has influenced that is really helpful. That can be a fave of yours.
There's like so much. I feel like all the sex toys coming out are so exciting.
Yes.
And I don't even have the time, to be honest. And that's another thing that I probably want to explore more as well. Like there's like all these different shapes. There's the different things you can do. You could connect it to your phone. I mean, this is also a possibility for us. Now talking sounds again, but to maybe possibly connect like the way an audio goes with the way the toy works.
Yep.
You know, things like this. It's amazing what's coming out there and what's
Yep.
possible. I love, because I was in a long distance relationship before,
Okay.
so I love everything that is kind of helping you in a relationship that is not in the same place to still be playful, be intimate.
Yep.
All of these things I think are amazing. All the sex education that is that we talked about in the sex tech school as well.
Yes.
It's so important. The focus on older women who are like perimenopause,
Yes.
I think is so important. I've learned so much already, and I'm not in the age yet, but I learned, oh, I am in the age to learn about this, you know?
Yep.
So all of this is amazing. It's so important. So I'm very excited about, I guess, these things. What else did we learn about? I think what is also amazing, what we had in the sex tech school a lot was all the communities around sexuality, where we share things, but also where sex workers can actually have a safer space to even have the money saved, because like there's so many problems with the finances in the sex tech or sex work world. So yeah, all of these things that are being done there to make it safer for them, so that sex workers are more independent and they can really feel good, and also know the money is not taken away by a crazy bank that decides we're not supporting this or whatever. This is so important. And yeah, it's all very exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. I definitely agree. I think like the educational aspect, like everything that we've learned in sex tech school, you would think that it would be common knowledge, but literally I did not know, like perimenopausal help with that, the fluctuations that you have with your sexuality and your urges. Like I didn't know about any of this until being in school. So yeah, I love that. Just sex tech as a whole has such an educational component to it.
Yeah.
Whether people are aware of it or not, like even when you have a sex toy, you're like low-key in STEM. Like, there's a lot that goes on behind like the sex toy that was created and like the use of it and all of that stuff. So
yes. Yeah.
I love
Also that there's like more ethical creation of sex toys as well. It's so important.
Yep.
And like people, I even forgot it, like the stuff that I'm using. And you know, when you're using it for vaginal use, it's so important that it's not full of toxins, basically.
Yeah.
And they have been. And also with condoms.
Yes.
I've learned so much. I've never thought about that. Lube and condoms, they are so bad for our health as women. And no one cared.
No.
And there was like there's no education about it.
No.
There's no information about it on the product, actually, because there is no legislation. And again, we go into politics. So it matters so much. And I feel like so excited about all these people I've met so far in this sphere and everything that is happening. And I just feel it's amazing. Like, and a lot of the people are like grassroots people. So we don't have the big money behind us. We're not like the big companies. And we also don't necessarily want to become these big companies.
Yep.
Because we really care about making a change. And this is like so nice and empowering. It's just, yeah.
Yes. I love this. I love this so much. Also going back to condoms, when I found out there was milk in some condoms, like not all condoms are vegan. Why do you have to look for a vegan condom? Like it's exhausting. And then I think that also just realizing like the patriarchy, and even the other day, some CEO from some sex toy company, I remember who it was, but I'm not going to shout them out. But their CEO is a man. But it's I want to say it's so bad, but the sex toy company is literally focused around women. Make it make sense. Like there's no one can ever make that make sense to me. Like I think I'm gonna do a thing. I'm gonna do a survey. Like all the sex toy companies that I know are like the popular ones that are run by men. I just want to like just do some market research to see, because with the patriarchy being out there, like you said, a lot of toys are not body safe. Even doing research for Ethereal X, I had to really make sure that like I was doing extensive research so that people weren't lying or using code words and stuff like that. A lot of people use plastic still to this very day, and they think that if they have like great packaging, no one will be able to tell it. It's like, we can read, you know, it's little things like that that can mess up with our hormones and can give us cancer and things like that. It's so scary. And the whole time we just want pleasure. So that's
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of sex toys, do you feel like do you have a favorite kind of sex toy? Like, there's like the new wave motion technology that kind of does like a come hither wave motion. There's like a bow motion now that like represents, it like replicates the violin. I think, or like the strum of a violin.
Oh.
There's a suction, air pulse technology, just good old vibration. Yeah, do you have a favorite kind of sex toy, like a suction toy, a wand?
I haven't tried the sorry, I haven't tried the violin one. What the fuck?
Yeah,
That sounds
that was
interesting. I want to try that one. I normally like the sucking ones,
oh
and the good old school vibrating ones, because I feel like you
yes,
can do so much on the whole body with it.
yes.
Just really the playfulness with them, I really like. So yeah, I think they are my favorites, but I haven't tried these new techniques yet. So I don't know if they're recommended. I wouldn't mind trying them.
You know, I feel like Lilo is really good for
Mhm.
the new technology. Like Lilo came up with the wave technology. Lilo has the violin technology. Now, the one for the violin technology, that the only one I've seen that for so far was for their Soraya beads, which is like anal beads. So that was cool because they have like a beginner, intermediate, advanced kind of, yeah, so you can just toy
Yeah.
around with that. But I'm gonna check to see if they have that in any of their other like vaginal play or like dual stimulation toys, because
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely a newer technology that just came out on their end. So yeah,
Yeah.
just coming up with stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Also, what I feel like is missing, and this is also because my co-founder is a man, what I found out a lot is that men don't talk enough about a lot of these things and don't share. And I feel like there's not enough good sex toys for men, or like when you have like a play with men.
Nope.
And then I think there's like a big stigma around it as well, that it's probably why men don't call for it, or I don't know. But there's definitely, if you compare it, it's kind of similar like going shopping for clothes, right? You have like these huge amount of things for women that are
Yep.
not necessarily good quality, but it's a lot.
Yep.
And for men, you have like these few black shirts, kind of. I mean, that's exaggerated.
No, no, literally. They don't have a lot to choose from.
Exactly, and it's so sad because they could look more colorful and amazing and feel good about themselves as well.
Yes.
They don't. I think it would help them as well to develop like more outgoing personalities and
Yeah.
be like the better humans if they could feel happy in their clothes as well and
Yeah.
have the choice. And that's kind of the same way I feel with sex toys. When I look at the websites, it's all for women and it's amazing, and I try a lot, but my male partners, they don't have this choice. They don't, and also again, it's a stigma. They also don't share as much about it, and
Yeah.
so they're not even that curious, I feel, and I think they're missing out.
Yeah, 1,000%. Literally, I love that you are talking about men specifically in sex toys, because I want to say right before this episode, or right before we started recording, was thinking about my shop, and I was like, I have a area that says for him. Right now it's like cock rings and like anal plugs and things of that sort, but I don't have any like masturbators or anything like that. But one thing I've realized is that a couple of the companies that I have looked at that have like masturbators for men are not made of body safe material, or they're made of something called TPE, which is like yeah, I guess it can be used, but is it the safest material to use? No. So I think it's very interesting that like, as much as I feel like they don't care about the body of people with vulvas, damn, I guess I don't really care about the bodies of men either, because they're just putting this like material out there that can also be toxic for them. But now I'm excited to do some more extensive research to see, there has to be a company out there that has body safe silicone that can arouse, or I have like couples toys, but I need one for like singular men, or like vibrating cock rings. I think those are super dope and can be used with a partner for your own satisfaction as well. So yeah, I'd love to remove the stigma, and I'd love to even just ask some questions. Like, I have a lot of men. I actually think that a majority of my following on Instagram is men, and then it's women on TikTok, which is interesting. But I'm curious to see, there's like a lot of the comments I get are very stigmatized from men. So I'm excited to kind of do a social experiment and see, are they open to possibly using toys, and what's their experience with it. Yeah.
Amazing. I feel like it's really needed. Like, we try, because we are like a mixed gender founding team, and we developed the whole idea together. Also for this, we were like, oh, like what is happening on the ethical space is a lot from women for women, and that's amazing. But again, it's very binary. And I mean, if we have sex with men, then they should be part of the whole discussion, right? They should be part of the creation. So let's open it up, and it's important to learn from each other as well. And again, breaking stigmas for everyone.
Yes.
So, yeah.
1,000%. I love that you're co-founder. I love that you have a mix of men and women and however they identify on your team. Yeah, I think that's amazing. I think that just gives so many different perspectives, so much different types of knowledge. And yeah, I love that so much. I think that a lot of companies can take away with that. Even the company that I mentioned that was like literally had a man at the podium, like if they just had also a woman founder, that would have, or a woman co-founder, that would have just been so nice, especially because they literally focus on sex toys specifically for women. Like, I think that it's okay to have that other voice sometimes. Like for Xounds, it makes sense. For this company, I was like, man, go sit in the corner.
Yeah, and I mean, I would even be okay. I would be okay if it would be like an actual shared CEO role or something, and there would be like a man and a woman, or like gender really wouldn't matter or something. But I'm also like a fan in general of sharing power, so I don't understand how there can be like companies with one CEO, like just as I don't understand how there's like a country run by one president. It's like these are like huge jobs to share the power, you know. It just makes everyone better, and you check balances and everything. So I never understand that anyway. But yeah, as you said, especially if it's meant to target like a problem for women, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And they should realize. And it feels like so fake, because you know, sometimes even companies, they have like these fake women CEOs or like some kind of leaders. But when you actually see them talking on a stage or something, it's only the man who's talking. And I just feel like betrayed, basically.
Betrayal. Absolutely. No, literally. I feel like almost like you kind of have to, it's very known that men get more respect in the boardroom, especially when it comes to like venture capitalism and stuff like that, like trying to raise funds. So I think it's helpful to kind of have that person, you know what I'm saying? Like use that, like use them for that. People also do that for Black owned companies. So many companies that people still think are Black owned, they use a Black person as like their main face, but behind the scenes, the person that's getting all of the money is literally the CEO at the top, and they're not white at all. So I'm not Black at all. So yeah, it's very interesting. Or even going beyond just CEOs and stuff like that, I've learned that companies can be very deceptive with what they say. For instance, a company can say that they're organic if they have one organic ingredient in, you know what I'm saying? I think we've talked about this before. Like a company can say that they're natural if they have one natural. It's like, that's why I love how Xounds is so transparent and so authentic, because that's so rare. So you're like, this is what we're doing. These are the steps. These are the guidelines. This is what we know we're working through. Like that. No company just comes in and doesn't have amnesty. Like companies deserve amnesty and rooms to grow. So I love that you're starting off like that.
Yeah, it's just realistic. I mean, you know, I can share a vision. We have the vision that it will be a safe space, basically. But on the way there, it's ridiculous. We could not fulfill it. No one can.
Yeah.
So yeah. So why should we lie about it? But I think it's also because I've worked in the social economy for such a long time. So I've worked on this part, basically doing advocacy to be more transparent and everything. So I just don't know how to do it any different. And also as a consumer, because we're doing a B2C company, I just would not feel comfortable sharing anything if it would be any other way.
I love that. And just I love it. Just for the listeners, B2C is business to consumer, right? As opposed to like business to business. Okay, got you. I remember when I first got into the world of business, and like people would be like, yeah, B2B, B2C. And I'm like,
oh my God, all the acronyms. Also, I said it earlier, I think MVP. And when I posted something on our Instagram for our community, it was like, oh, come and test the MVP. Someone was like, what is an MVP? So also, again, to the listeners, an MVP is a minimal viable product. So it's basically the product you can already use everything, but in a minimal way. So the design isn't perfect yet. And a lot of the features don't work perfectly yet, but you get the idea, you get the main things, and you can test these so that we can basically test the process rather than the actual design and everything. And bit by bit, we also test the design, and you can give us feedback for that too. But yeah, that is basically what an MVP is. So it's a minimal viable product. It won't be the final product, but it's basically there to test the actual product before we make it all perfect. And then we realize, oh, that's not working, you know? So yeah.
I love this so much. Thank you so much. Like, one of the things I love about the podcast is that I want to learn every time interviewing somebody. So I just learned something. I mean, I learned something from you earlier, and I learned something from you all the time. So I'm just really grateful for that. But your mind, like, even the fact that you worked in politics, I know you mentioned that earlier, but I'm sure that that's helpful when it comes to you knowing how to run an ethical company because you've seen unethical things. You know what I'm saying? I think that
Yeah.
that's really, really helpful as well. So
Absolutely. And also like not having the illusion that, because what is even ethical? Like, so I'm just like, okay, I don't know how to do this. And I've seen all the bad baby, like it's all like, yeah, I don't want to be that bad player. So that's why we're so transparent. And that is why we know we're going to make mistakes, but we want people to tell us, and
yeah.
we absolutely want to change it if we do make mistakes. So yeah, I think
Yes.
that's the only way we can do it. And the only way that would be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we as the consumers appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
I'm going to switch gears a little bit because I always like to have a story time in my episode. And so I asked you originally if you had a story. So I'm going to just read a little bit. You said that you were obsessed with outdoor sex for a whole summer. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes, I think that was even last summer. I was just obsessed with the idea. And again, it was like the fantasy of it. I with a partner, I started talking about it, and we were like sending each other a text. So we were like sexting about it, what we
Okay.
would do now if we were at the park or something
Okay.
like this. And then we were like so hyped that one time after we went to a party, we were actually like, oh my God, like, do you remember what I said to you like the other day? And then we were like, so why don't we just do it? And then we started doing it, and it was like so amazing because the whole like, yeah, this tickling of someone could see us.
Yes.
And yeah, it was just like so amazing. So yeah, I think that was like my whole summer was, and also this like whenever we text each other, we knew it would be like something about this. This even like
Oh,
gave me like such a thrill already when I just heard like the certain type of text.
I love
It
it.
was like amazing.
Oh my God. And when you say outdoor, is that like uh parks, pools, beaches? Like is it like that, or is it more so like the bathroom of like a hotel, or like somewhere like
That was
outdoor?
Berlin summer, and we actually went outdoors. So it was like at nighttime, like building sites. We have a lot of building sites. So we just like
Oh, oh,
went behind the fence, things like this in the park. Yeah, these kind of
oh. Wait, there's so much construction in Mexico. Like I love that. Like that's a great idea. I never
be
even
careful
thought
though,
of that.
because some of them have cameras. So
Okay.
you don't want to be recorded doing that. But
I'd be like, wait, can y'all send me that? Like,
yeah.
and then delete it. Wow, I love that so much. Do you consider yourself to be okay? That's exhibit. Is that an exhibitionist?
I think a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah. I wouldn't be like, I can definitely live without it too, but I definitely like that thrill a little bit. Yeah.
okay, I love it. You know what this episode has taught me? That I'm currently still trying to add labels to things.
Yes,
That's
true.
like I'm stressing myself out. I'm like, would you could even like with audiophile, even if you made that up, that's how you identify, and that's what feels good to you. So that's all that matters. Like, and that just helps you like be seen in a way. But like in my head, I'm like, oh, am I an audiophile, demisexual, and sapiosexual? Like, it's okay. I could just be a Tia that likes things. Like, I don't have to add
Yes.
a label to it. But I think that that's just, once again, that's one of those societal things, right? That's like been embedded in my head.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to just decipher between those
And
things.
I keep breaking this. I never reply to you. Yes. But yeah, that's how I feel. I never feel like I'm just this or that.
I love it because there's a spectrum, and the spectrum is you could
Yes.
forever move along the spectrum. I love that. That's so healing. Like, I love that so much. It's almost like when somebody, this is not really the same thing, but when somebody thinks about like kink and BDSM and all they think about is like pain and like masochism. And it's like, oh, wait, no, actually, it doesn't have to be that. Like, there's also this super healing aspect of it. There's a whole bunch of consensual healing that can go on with kink. Like, there are ethical kinksters and just so much stuff that I'm learning about the realm. So I love unlearning so that I can
Yeah.
learn my new shit.
Yeah, totally.
And speaking of learning, I also ask when interviewing people that I love that if there's anything you want to learn from me or anything that we can learn together. And so one of the things that you said is, as an audiophile person, you'd want to learn more about my pleasure playlist creations and my favorites. So this actually took me down this rabbit hole because I realized that having a pleasure playlist was amazing, right? Like, I'm so grateful for everyone who signed up. But I actually think that I want to break it down even more. So I think I want to have a masturbation playlist or a self-pleasure playlist. I want to have a playlist for partners, and then just like an overall sensuality playlist. Because I think that the playlist that I have right now would actually really be a sensuality playlist. I've had sex to my sex playlist finally. I don't know. I don't even know if I told you this. I might have. I was celibate for 2 years and I'm not celibate anymore. Did I tell you that? Okay.
I knew that you were celibate. I didn't know that you're not anymore. So is that a clap or?
It's a clap. It's a clap. It was healing sex. It was great. I have no complaints. Like, the person that I ended up having sex with ended up being doing very corny things. So,
Okay.
but the sex itself was great. I have literally no regrets, and that was always the goal. I did not want to end my celibacy and have regrets. So I'm grateful for that. But like, I listened to my sex playlist and it was great. But I realized it was certain songs that I would go into more than others. So for instance, there's a song called Slow. And so I had him, this is like an exclusive because I haven't even shared this in any of the episodes yet, but I had dressed up in like all blue lingerie, and I had told him to press play when I sent him a message and like play the song Slow. So he played the song. And then, but like, I have to physically, I'm gonna do it in another episode, like physically show y'all, but like, I clumsily, like, I couldn't even hear the music. I was like, is it playing? And then like, I opened the door and I like, I felt like I like fall inside. It was not sexy at all. But my point is that that was a great song to do an intro to for sexiness. But I probably just would have switched over after that. Because then some of the songs that I had, like, lyrically, they low-key were like about breakups and like hating men and stuff. And it's not the best thing to do when you're like having sex with a man. So I think that I just want to break my playlist down. So that's how I'm gonna do. So thank you for inspiring me to do that. I really appreciate you.
Can I make a wish as well? Because
Please.
I always, because yeah, I love music and I love listening to music when I want to be sexy or romantic even.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what you just said. Some of the lyrics just pull me out of it. So maybe if you wanted to curate this, because I think I love the other playlists. So if you were to create something with less lyrics even, that would also be amazing. You know, like kind of more there's like so much good music that is not all without lyrics, but a lot is just really like the rhythm or the melody, you know. And I always search for things like this and I just go for random playlists that whatever, lo-fi or something. But yeah, have like a really sensual focused playlist on this, where, because like sometimes I also love the lyrics, and I love, like on your playlist, I love all the sexy Beyonce songs, of course, because I love Beyonce. And I even like one of the, or like at least 2 songs I didn't know before, and I added them to my like list. So yeah, that's also amazing. But yeah, when you know, like, no, tonight is gonna be like the night, and we really just want to focus on each other. So I don't want any lyrics to pull me out of the situation and this like intimate, you know, experience with that other person. But that's my wish for you.
Oh, I literally love that so freaking much. Like, thank you so much for the suggestion. I'm about to go down rabbit holes of music without lyrics. Like, I'm just gonna have a day where I just like walk around my house and see like what feelings they give me. Like, I swear. I love that so much. Yeah. And like you said, like lo-fi. Okay. All right. Thank you. Challenge accepted. Thank you for that. I love that so much.
Thank you.
Of course. And if I had to give like top, let me see, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If I had to give top 5 songs on my playlist right now that like can constantly get me going, it would be Morning by Tiana Taylor. That might feature, I think that features Kalani as well. And I think I love that one because I think it's about lesbian sex, and like, it's just the 2 of them together. And then the music video, I don't even watch the music video, but like just imagining what happens in the music video, I think that it's very sensual. And Tiana Taylor and Kalani's voice just have this like tone. Of course I had to have Tank. He has a song called When Me. I just feel like in R&B, he's just known for having the best like sexual music. So that he also does the song Slow that I walked into. But I just feel like his voice sounds like sex. So Tank. There's this guy that a lot of people don't know of. His name is Henry Veris. And his has this song called Your Guilty Pleasure. I can't even tell you where I heard the song first, but when I tell you this is the #1 song that I've gotten off to, I had a video go viral on TikTok. He literally DM'd me and was like, "Thank you so much. Like my streams have gone up because so many people have downloaded this song." Because yes, I was like, wow, doing the people's work.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you so much. The last two are Harem by Miguel. And that's a personal favorite of mine because if there were no words, that song would get me off so well. Like it goes back into like what you said about just the lack of audio, like the lack of lyrics. He has so many beat buildups and like and drops. And I think that's why I like about Henry Veris's Your Guilty Pleasure too. It's like so many like do. I don't know how to, what that word is in music, but it's like the moves.
I don't know either. I'm just a consumer. I'm not an expert.
I don't know the terminology. I just like to enjoy it. But and then the last one is actually sentimental. And lyrically it's really nice, but it's called Risk It All by Her and Usher. Once again, like I feel like Usher is really great at just like sensual music. Her is really good at sensual music, but their voices together, it's just like if you want to make love, I feel like that is a great eye gazing, breath matching, sensual touch. Like, it's just everything would be beautiful in that moment. So yeah, those are my top 5 songs and artists.
So sexy.
I hope that's helpful. Thank you. Maybe I'll put that in my description in case anybody wants those specific ones, but they'll all be in my playlist as well. So that's there. Unfortunately, we have come to the time where we have to conclude the episode, and I'm having so much fun. I know that we could talk for hours. Like literally, this is how our freaking check-in sessions go. I love it so much. So thank you, Cornelia. Before we go, I just want to ask, this is really random and on the spot, but do you have any advice, or if you had to give one word of advice to your younger self when it came to your sexual exploration journey, what word of advice would that be?
I think it would take time. Take time and think what you really want to do, and say no if you don't want it. Because that's the thing I learned late in life. And I've definitely done things where I just wasn't sure, I think.
Yeah.
And instead of asking for time and also being brave enough kind of to say in the middle of it that I don't want this. Yeah. I didn't do. And I've learned this. And it has been like such a learning curve. And I am still learning, I would say.
Yep.
And even doing this like outside of the whole world of sex and the whole world of pleasure, saying no and learning to actually step up for my boundaries and even knowing my boundaries first.
Yes, that's important. Absolutely.
Yes. So I would tell my younger self, it's okay. Take your time.
That is so freaking beautiful. Is that okay? Is it okay if I add on to that? For
totally.
My own. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes, I second that. I would definitely tell my younger self, take your time. And just the young women out there in general, like you can absolutely stop in the middle. You can change your mind. You can say no in the middle. These are definitely things that I wish that I would have been cognizant of when I was younger. And now, like 29-year-old me is absolutely focused on enthusiastic consent throughout my entire life. Like if it's not a hell yes, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do anything I don't want to do. Like, so and it's easier. Like you said, it's so much easier said than done because it's so much unconditioning we have to do of ourselves, especially like breaking out of the whole people pleasing thing. But absolutely enthusiastic consent is important. So if anyone out there is listening, like please take heed. And I love everything that you said, Cornelia. I'm sure your younger self is probably just so proud of you and all that you've grown through. So shout outs to you.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Before we go, I wanted you to tell us a little bit about your podcast that you're working on. And then I wanted you to let people know where they can find Xounds and where they can follow you.
Yes. Yeah, so we're also starting a podcast, and we're just doing the first episodes now. So we'll release them in September. So yes, and what we want to do in the podcast is basically there are, like, as you maybe can imagine, so many issues with sexuality and pleasure that we found, and that we basically found and use Xounds as one of a way of solving some of these issues. So in the podcast, we want to talk about all of these things, and we want to talk with experts. So it's not just me, because I'm not an expert at all, and I'm learning, and I want to talk to other amazing people like you as well, to really just learn from these experts and pioneers in their fields and have like open discussion based on certain things that kind of motivated us to found Xounds. And of course, we're always going to link like how we solve it, but also learn and take this into the product while we keep developing it. So yeah, that's really Xounds. And so everyone who feels like they're an expert in something and wants want to be a guest in the podcast, reach out. But also, yeah, from September you will be able to listen to it.
I am so excited. It's not me and Cornelia. I've been talking about this from day one. We were talking about me interviewing Cornelia and then Cornelia interviewing me. So the fact that this is like you have a date, I think that is just, I'm just so incredibly proud of you. So please just know you are doing the work. You are really putting in the work and you are really making a difference. And you are really inspiring people like me, and I'm sure inspiring the masses. So just thank you so much.
You too. You're inspiring me too. And you give me like so much energy. I just love talking to you and I could just do it forever. So yeah, thank you.
It's really same. Oh my gosh. And please tell people where they can follow Xounds and how they can support.
Yeah, so we are www.xounds, so XOUNDS.de, like DE is for Deutschland, for Germany.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, you can find us there, and you can just sign up to the waiting list. Then you will get all the information once a month, like about the new developments, how you can test it. So yeah, as I said, right in this time, we are only testing in physical ways in Berlin, but you can also download it soon to test this minimal viable product. And once we're launching, you can actually get all the information to the waiting list there as well. You can support us. So yeah, sign up to the waiting list. And also find us on Instagram at xounds.good. We're following you, so everyone who's following you on Instagram can just find us there in your follower list.
Yep, literally. I love it. So yes, you can definitely find Xounds, and I'm following them right back, so you can find them in my followers or following. And yeah, Cornelia, I'm literally, I do this all the time, but please, audience and Cornelia, please give yourself a hug for me.
Yes.
If I could come to Berlin tomorrow to literally physically hug you, I would.
You will have to, or if I come to Mexico, I mean, or wherever you are, but I can't wait to meet you in person.
Definitely going to make this happen. We definitely have to have a trip in Mexico, and I'm definitely coming to Berlin and to Europe next year. So we're going to make it happen, and we're going to have to redo this in person again. So
yeah, meet all the other great European people here.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I just interviewed Paulina the other day, so we definitely have to do a whole meetup. So it's going to be amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody, for listening. Don't forget, you can always check us out on YouTube. We are on video now. And if you're listening via audio, I appreciate you. We are on all podcast streaming platforms. Don't forget to follow Xounds everywhere. I love y'all so, so much. Don't forget to be kind to animals and to be kind to yourselves. Bye.